O Salman, in every affair strive to be like God, and be content with the divine decree. Consider how, according to outward appearances, this youth hath been sorely tried from every direction, and all physical doors have been closed upon him. At every moment demons strive to darken the lamp of God, and to extinguish its flame, which burns with such brightness and radiance that illuminates the heavens and the earth. Yet the people behave as though no harm has befallen him, make no plaint concerning this world's exaltation or abasement, glory or vileness. Under all conditions, set your gaze upon us, for all that is visible shall be lost. That you see some of the people delighting in the glory of this world, and proud of their high station, merely demonstrates the heedlessness of those souls. Every person of vision and insight bears witness that this saying is the truth, and this utterance has dawned forth from the word of illumination. For all know that these things are unworthy of consideration and are unstable, and that when the angel of death arrives, they shall undergo an alteration. Therefore it is established that those persons who set their hearts on these things are heedless, and it is negligence that leads them to busy themselves with such matters. Say, concourse of holiness, unsheath the swords of wisdom from the scabbards of utterance, and thereby aid your Lord, the All-Merciful. Beware, lest you wreak corruption in the land after its reformation, and fear God, to whom all affairs return in the beginning and the end. Should the idolaters creep up on you, drive them away with our word, not with your blades, and do not contravene what you were commanded in the book. Be steadfast, people, in following the path, and allow fire and rapture to consume you in this cause, and on this foundation. If you fail to pursue this path with perseverance, God will send another people that will be firm in his cause, and will commemorate him with distraction, yearning, and ecstasy. Nothing in the heavens or on earth will deter them. On these the angels and the Spirit will pronounce blessings, as will the concourse of holiness, and those who are within the pavilions of nearness, behind the veil. Is there anything that does not mention their names, and thereby draw near to God? Say, by God, their names are tolled by the bell, crowed by the cockerel of paradise, and sung by the rebeck. Thus are the words of your Lord completed in veracity and justice. Nothing can alter the words of your Lord, but none can comprehend this truth, save the souls endued with excellence and immortality. Remind his servants of God's clemency and truth, that he might be honoured thereby among the concourse of the worlds, and might give thanks to his Lord at all times, insofar as God's bounties to him and the people of the heavens and the earth have been completed. This is from a book wherein is mentioned that which will bring the people near to the court of the holy, the manifest. It bears witness that there is no God but him, and all are his servants, and all shall return to him. The likeness of those who listen to the melodies of God and follow them is a light illumined by the radiance of God, the mighty, the all-powerful. Likewise, gaze at the crystal that ignites fires when the sun shines on it. This is a reminder from us to those who remember. Say, O people of the earth, if you sanctify your souls and spirits, you will find them more fine than crystal, and this is an indisputable truth. And if you allow God, your Creator, to shine on them, there would be reflected in them the Word of God, the help in peril, the uncreated. Then the fire of nearness would be ignited therein, whereby your physical and ethereal bodies would be illumined, as would everything that pertains to you. Thus would the torch of love be kindled in the bush of your soul, which would burn away the veils that come between you and the splendour of the divine countenance. Thus do we teach you the paths of the soul, that you might be among the mystic knowers.
Yes, Salman, tell the beloved of God to look at anyone's words not with the eyes of opposition, but rather with the eyes of compassion and mercy. Except for the words of those persons who, today, have written fiery treatises in refutation of God. It is absolutely incumbent on all persons to write whatever they can in rebuttal of those who have sought to refute God. Thus has it been decreed by the mighty, the all-powerful. For today, all must aid God by words and utterances, not with the sword and its like. This is what we have revealed before, as well as at this time, if you but knew. By the one who is now saying in all things that there is no God but him. Should anyone pen a single word in rebuttal of a polemic against God, a station would be bestowed upon him, such as would be the envy of the concourse on high. All the pens in creation are powerless to describe this station, and the tongues of all beings are inadequate to depict it. For any individual who today perseveres in this most holy, exalted, and sublime cause is equal to all who are in the heavens and the earth. God knows and bears witness to this. Beloved of God, do not recline on the carpets of ease. When you recognize your Creator and hear what has befallen him, arise to aid him. Speak, and do not remain silent for an instant. In truth, this is better for you than the treasures of all that was and shall be, if you only knew. This is the counsel of the pen of the Most High to the servants of God. If believers and unbelievers had the same station, and the worlds of God were limited to this world, the manifestation who preceded me would never have given himself into the hands of his enemies, nor would he have sacrificed his life. I swear by the dawning sun of command that if the people were aware, to the slightest degree, of the longing and pining of the chosen beauty at the time when they suspended that divine body in the air, all would, out of yearning, give their lives for the sake of this great and divine revelation. They gave sugar to the parrot and dung to the beetle. The crow is bereft of the nightingale's song, and the bat flees from the rays of the sun. Salman, my tribulations among the nations and states is powerful evidence and unassailable proof. For a period of 20 years, we have not so much as taken a drink of water in peace, or rested all night. Sometimes we were bound with chains and fetters, and at others we were arrested and made prisoner. If our gaze had been fixed upon this world and what is on it, we would never have fallen victim to these afflictions. Blessed is the soul who is nourished by the fruit of this station and tastes of its sweetness. Beseech God for eyes to see, and ask for sound taste. For to one deprived of sight, the forms of Joseph and the wolf seem identical, and to the taste buds of one ill, the bitter gourd and sugar taste the same. I maintain the hope, however, that from the holy breezes of these days, souls will become manifest who would not pay a penny for this world and all that it contains. Shorn of all else but him, they will gaze toward the precincts of God and consider sacrificing their lives in the path of the All-Merciful to be the easiest of things. They will not stumble on the way because of the opposition of opponents, and will choose to seat themselves under the shade of the friend. Blessed be the former, and happy are the latter. How glorious are the former, and how noble are the latter. By God, the Houris in the most exalted chambers find no rest because of their pining to meet these souls. The concourse of immortals cannot sleep because of their yearning. Thus has God singled those out for himself and rendered them detached from all the worlds. How often it happens that justice is dispensed in this very world while you remain unaware. Such is the case when one's adornments and possessions become the cloak of tests and afflictions, and tests and afflictions appear in the form of possessions. Often it happens that the loss of these possessions is the reason and cause for dispelling one's afflictions. In this case, there is no distinction between losing one's possessions through spiritual causes and losing them through the oppression of another. Although the oppressor has seized and stolen your property, he has also removed the cause of your affliction and brought it on himself. Is any better method of dispensing justice conceivable? No, by the Lord of the worlds. Were I to explain and remove the veil from the manifestations of the deeds, acts, and words that appear in limitless and manifold forms in the worlds of God, it is feared, on the one hand, that sanctified souls would forsake their bodies and ascend to the seats of the glory of the All-Merciful, and on the other, that the wicked and perverse would perish out of fear for what they have committed during their futile lives. How I long for spiritual attributes, goodly deeds, and truthful and beneficial words. For the outcome of these is an upraised heaven, an outspread earth, rising suns, gleaming moons, scintillating stars, crystal fountains, flowing rivers, gentle breezes, sublime palaces, lofty trees, heavenly fruits, rich harvests, warbling birds, crimson leaves, and perfumed blossoms. Thus I say, protect me, O my Lord, the All-Merciful, from blameworthy attributes, wicked deeds, unseemly acts, and deceitful and injurious words. For the outcome of these is realized in the contingent realm as hell and hellfire, and the infernal and fetid trees as utter malevolence, loathsome things, sicknesses, misery, pollution, and war and destruction. Great God, to disclose more than this is not permissible. I declare that all majesty and greatness belong to God, the incomparable, the all-compelling.
Know that radiant acquiescence has infinite stages. We shall instruct you in them by means of the words God makes to flow from my pen. This shall enable you to dispense with all that the ancients and moderns possess. Whoever wishes to tread the path of radiant acquiescence must be content with God, his Creator, and with what he has ordained for him, and written with an exalted pen in truth, and with whatever he has specified in holy and guarded tablets. He must be content with himself, but no one can attain this state until he has severed himself from all who are in the heavens and the earth, if you be among the mystic knowers. For if a human being commits the least iniquity within himself, he will not be content with himself. This is that which we have shown you in truth, so that you might be content and might ascend to the station wherein honey and poison are the same, since both are decreed by the Almighty, the Ordainer. Were someone to worship God from all eternity and yet abhor within himself any of the calamities and adversities that have afflicted him, his name shall not be entered in the tablets as among those who are content with the holy and radiant pen. For those who claim in themselves the love of God, but who regret their tribulations in his path, cannot rightly be called content. This is what we say to you in truth, that you might be steadfast in love. How can someone assert that he has the love of God in his heart, and then despise what befalls him from his beloved, the mighty, the generous? Or that he is content with the friends of God in the land, and is humble before the believers? For if he deems himself above the believers, it is as though he has grown haughty toward God. We take refuge in God from that concourse of the sincere. Whoever is content with God, his Lord, will be content with his servants, who have believed in him and in his signs, on the day wherein all who are in the heavens and the earth have swooned. For a servant's satisfaction with God cannot be demonstrated save by his satisfaction with the friends of God, who have detached themselves from everything but God and depended on him.